Hey there, everyone. Welcome to Bad Kids Don't Exist. This is the podcast that helps adults better understand kids to create environments where kids and their caregivers thrive. Today's episode is a clip from a very special event that I spoke at recently in San Antonio, Texas. The event was called ClarityCon, and I had a fantastic time. This specific talk is one called No Bad Kids, where I go into how misinformation and what I've deemed accelerated childhood has created environments where kids are not just unwilling, they are unable to meet our expectations. What you'll see and hear today is the final few minutes of that talk where I talk through 3 things that we as adults can do to support kids and let them reclaim their childhood. Check it out.
It's time we let children reclaim their childhoods. I say we need to advocate for policies, both nationally, worldwide, locally, and advocate for family policies with the families that we work with. Advocate that we're not going to enroll little Johnny in every single thing that comes our way. Advocate that we are going to speak up if our child is sitting there with 4 hours of homework to do every single night. Advocate for all those things, but there's 3 things that I feel like we really need to do. The first is we have to let kids play. We have to let them play. We took away play because of our childhoods and we thought that kids couldn't afford to play anymore, but we have to let kids play. And I don't mean play on screens. I mean real, messy, break your wrist sometimes play. We have to let kids play. That prefrontal cortex, I told you it's responsible for all sorts of things, but it also helps us synthesize all the different parts of our brain. It helps touch, taste, smell, sight, sound. It helps all those things work together with our memory and our attention and our focus. It helps it all work together to complete a task. And we can do that verbally because we're adults and we have access to our prefrontal cortex, most of us. But children can't do it that way. They have to do it through movement. They have to do it through play. But what did we do? We took away play, we raised the standard, and we told them that they were bad because they couldn't get it right away. We have to let kids play. Here's an interesting statistic. Research has shown that it takes approximately 400 repetitions to create a new synapse in the brain. What that means is that if you were trying to teach someone something, it's going to take 400 repetitions for them to catch on to it. And maybe you've seen this in the commercials that you watch while you're on your streaming service and you're like, if I see one more Jake from State Farm, I'm going to flip out. It's because they've ingrained it in us. They want to create that synapse in the brain that when you think insurance, you think State Farm. And they're not paying me for this. They should, but they're not. They're creating that synapse in the brain. They want you to see their thing over and over and over and over again. 400 repetitions. What does that mean? It means that for a parent who wants their kid to learn how to clean their room, if their child cleans their room once a week for 52 weeks a year, it's going to take that child 8 years. 8 years to learn how to clean their room. Yes. 8 years. For a teacher, what that means is that if you are trying to teach a concept and you teach that same concept every single day of the school year, you might be able to get through one concept in a school year. For therapists, that means that if you have sessions with a child, if you have one session a week for 52 weeks, which we know, sometimes they show up and sometimes they don't. If you have one session a week for 52 weeks, that means you will work on the same goal for 8 years. 8 years. But there's another part of the statistic. Research has shown that it takes approximately 400 repetitions to create a new synapse in the brain unless it is done through play. If it's done through play, it only takes 10 to 20 repetitions. We have to let kids play. But that 10 to 20 repetitions leads me to the second thing that we have to let kids do. And the second thing we have to let them do is make mistakes. We have to let kids make mistakes. I read a quote recently, and I can't remember where it comes from, but it's now a quote I live my life by, which might not be the best idea. But it's, the first time you do anything, you'll be bad at it. Kids are new at everything. They're going to be bad at it. let them make the mistakes. We took away letting kids make mistakes because we thought that every mistake was going to lead to something deadly. But it's not. Let kids make mistakes. We gave every kid a trophy thinking that that was the goal. But it's not. Let kids make mistakes. We gave every kid an A because we thought that's what we needed to do. It's not. Let kids make mistakes. And then support them when they make that mistake, and then be playful with them about that mistake 20 times. 20 times. Not 2. Not, I told you 3 times. Okay, you got 17 more to go. Be playful with them 20 times about that mistake, and then you'll see them start to grow. And you'll see them start to do amazing things. We have to let kids play. We have to let kids make mistakes. And third, and most importantly, we have to believe that children are doing their best. We set up a world that isn't really kid-friendly. We thought it was, but it's not. I told you about the boy who spit his snot all over me. And when I had him down in that physical management, he looked up at me. I looked down at him and I said, hey, buddy, it looks like you're calming down. Are you ready for me to let you go? And he looked up at me and goes, Mr. Stu. And he looked down at me and I said, yeah, buddy. He goes, you're really strong. I said, thanks, buddy. And then he looked at me and he said, God hates me and so do you. See, this boy had shown me some really, really difficult behaviors. He brought up poop. I don't do poop. But his parents had told him literally that he was a piece of crap. And I didn't use the expletive that they used. And then he went and he lived with a foster family, and they told him that he was a literal piece of crap, and I didn't use the expletive that they used. And so that's why he decided to cover himself in his feces. I looked back at that little boy. I said, oh, no, buddy. I care about you so much. And that's why I'm here. But I know it's tough. And his whole little body just softened. Can we believe that kids are doing their best? Kids behaving badly are not bad kids doing bad things just because they enjoy doing bad things and making us miserable. They are kids who are trying to communicate with us in the best way that they know how, and they are trying to tell us a very important message. They're trying to tell us we've been misinformed, and we accelerated their childhood to a pace that they are unable, not just unwilling, to meet. Will you listen to that message? Will you let kids play? Will you let kids make mistakes? And will you believe some things exist, some things don't? Bad kids don't exist.
I love helping adults better understand kids to create environments where kids and their caregivers thrive. If that sounds like a good match for you and your next event, click the link in the description to this episode or head over to badkidsdon'texist.com/booking. And there you'll find all the information you need to hire me as a keynote speaker or a workshop leader. I can't wait to hear from you and make your next event a great one.